So I'm taking an intercultural conflict and communications class at my school this semester, and last week I had a presentation about translation, and my part of the presentation was about lexical gaps, and I realized that I really love lexical gaps. A lexical gap is basically when there isn't a word for something that there should be. Like in Norway, there's no word for shallow, so when you translate, you have to say not so deep. And just like there aren't words for things in other languages, there aren't words for things in English. And I think those are the most interesting ones, when we don't have a word for something, but some other language does. And I love that whole concept, because now I incorporate words from other languages in my vocabulary, which I wouldn't have done normally. Like, I incorporate words from Easter Island in my vocabulary now, and people don't know what I'm talking about, because there's no sentiment for that in English. I love words. They're my favorite thing ever, which is why I'm a writer and a writing major. And when I found out that there are no words for words that there should be words for, I freaked out, because I love that kind of stuff. I love words. I want to invent words. I want to be the Shakespeare of 2011. Or like, you know, any year, really. It could be the Shakespeare of like 2025 and I'd be cool. It doesn't have to be 2011, I just want to be Shakespeare. So I was really excited when my friend sent me a list of 20 untranslatable words that she found on StumbleUpon. So for your amusement, I'm going to try to pronounce my favorite words, and maybe you'll learn something new. They're on my computer, so if I'm looking in this general direction, you know why. Alright, so my first favorite is from Tierra del Fuego. I don't even know where Tierra del Fuego is. If somebody could tell me, that'd be awesome. Mamilapinatape. Yeah, it's probably not how you pronounce it, but it's the wordless yet meaningful look shared by two people who both desire to initiate something but are both reluctant to start. I love that. It's my new favorite word. There's an Inuit word that is iktuswarpak, which means to go outside to see if someone's coming. And some of the words convey emotions that everyone feels, but we can't really identify in English because we have no word for it. Like a Czech word, littost, which is a state of agony and torment created by the sudden sight of one's own misery. There's a Scottish word, tartle, which, probably pronouncing that wrong, but I swear that's the easiest one to pronounce out of all of these, is the act of hesitating while introducing someone because you've forgotten their name. Like, why does this know my life? Schadenfreude is a German word, which is the feeling of pleasure derived at seeing someone else's misfortune. Tingo, a word from Easter Island, is the act of taking objects one desires from the house of a friend by gradually borrowing all of them. Who wouldn't want to use that word? Why don't we have a word for that in English? The Arabic word ya'abrani is the desire to die before another person because of how difficult it would be to live without them. I love that word. Why don't we have a word for that in English? That's a sentiment that pretty much everybody can relate to, but we can't define it in English because there's no word for it. I love lexical gaps, and a lot of people don't understand why I like them so much, but I just really love words in general, and it might be because I'm a writer, but it also might be my love for just language. I feel like the words that a language has reflects the values of a culture and the things that are most important to them. So by understanding these words and learning about these lexical gaps, we can get a better insight into different cultures besides our own. And that's really important because not only do we get to learn about other cultures, we get to learn more about ourselves. Because if we can understand the people and places around us, then we can understand ourselves better. And that understanding can help us form an identity. And when you think about it, isn't that the point of life? To be unique and leave a mark on the world?